guys, it's Brad, and I'm here at Union Square, one of my favorite places ever to talk about, is that you can't save face and be good at business or game, because it's just impossible. I mean, let's be real. It's completely impossible. And let's be real about one other thing, which is that most people, when they have a choice between more education or information or procrastination and action, they're always going to go with taking more information, doing something less painful than taking action and taking a risk, which puts them at risk for losing face. They'd rather keep their ego or identity or save face, rather than take action and just do something. And you know what? In a lot of ways, this is really not your fault at all. This is actually just the way that we're brought up in society. We're taught that we're not good enough. We're not enough on our own to be able to warrant receiving of love, sex, energy, money, attention, compliments, validation. At a certain point in our lives, very early on, we had unconditional love when we were a baby from, one of our caretakers. And then at a certain point, when you're a baby, what do you have to do to get attention, love, resources? You don't have to do anything, right? You're there, and you get love. But then at a certain point, that doesn't really happen anymore. And in order to get love and get attention and resources, what we learn is, we do something. We start crawling or something like that. And then when our parents or your caretakers or your source of your love, the primary source of your love, sees that you're maybe crawling or doing or reading or saying something, you understand, oh shit, I get love for that. I get love for achieving. I get love for doing. Sometimes, you're crying, you're upset, and you're not getting love, you're not getting attention when you're a baby. And then what do? What's another way to get attention is you fall, and then all of a sudden you have a problem. You're falling, you're hurt, you're crying, and that's what you associate to getting love, getting attention, getting resources. So most people, what they do is they'd rather focus on their problem or their identity or their story or their blueprint. It's really their story. They tell themselves, look, I can't do this because I have this problem. I can't do this because of this reason, or this reason. It's a problem. And it all actually goes back to the original source of your love. The original, most important source of love to you as a baby at one point in time taught you either to develop a problem or to save face or to not go after it at all, just be helpless. And another way that you can get love, by the way, is maybe you fart or something and people laugh, and then you get love that way, and then all of a sudden you're a comedian. But the truth of the matter is that if you're going to succeed either in business, you're going to succeed going out and dating, cold approaching women, there's one thing that you can't have, and that's an ego at all. Because guess what? Here's the thing, is that going out and trying shit in business, taking big risks, stuff that you could come up with lots of egg on your face and people think you look stupid. Same thing is true with cold approach. You go up to a woman and you don't know. Really don't know. These are not necessarily qualified women. These are just chicks that are walking around. So they could say anything that they want. They could be like, dude, you are a short, big-nosed fuck, and I hate you. Don't ever talk to me again. And you know what? That has happened. I've had women, say all types of mean shit to me. But at the end of the day, the only way that something's going to happen is if I take action, is if I go and I approach. Now, another thing about this too is that the society that we live in is so associated with the mind that we're always trying to protect our little ego, our little mind identity, that it's so hard to break out of it for some people, and myself included. I can speak for myself. It is so hard to break out of that mind thing that you have, where it's like, I want to avoid rejection at all costs. I want to avoid losing my ego. I want to avoid, going up to a woman and I think I'm one way. I think that I'm at a certain level, and if I go and I approach a woman that's, at that level or higher, and she tells she's not interested due to my behavior, guess what? What does that mean? Oh my God, that's gonna mean that I'm something not as good, right? Because that's what that means, and that's what I'm focusing on. Dude, none of that is true. If you just go and literally throw yourself in front of people, and you just literally, it's actually more of a process of undoing everything that you've been taught in life. It's not about being somebody. It's about actually just being yourself, you know, or just being, you know. And if you could do that and approach and be aggressive, and with the mind you say, I want this and I'm going for this, and you do it, that's really the marriage that needs to happen, of losing the ego, taking the action. Because the bottom line is, most people, they don't do this. That's why if you do this, you're going to be successful. If you're one of the few that actually takes action and does something big and risky, you're going to be one of the few that actually makes a difference. Now, of course, you got to marry that with strategy. You got to take a boot camp or study a certain amount of stuff so that you have those instincts, so that you don't have to figure it out by yourself. But at the same time, you know, think with your heart and not your head all the time. Most people, they think with their head all the time, and you really should be thinking more from your guts and your heart most of the time, because that is truth. That is the true answer. It's not about, oh, it should be this way, it should be that way, I think I'm one way, and she doesn't see my value, I'm gonna, you know, it's not like that. It's about, you know, the heart intelligence. It's what you know is the right thing to do. And that's really the bottom line. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Talk to you guys later. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and add me on Facebook if you guys are interested in seeing my content there, exclusive content there. Take it easy, guys. Peace.